Hey guys, Tyler here. Welcome to the Shadow Sniper channel and another episode of Ride and Rant. Here with Caesar. Can you see him? I can see him. We're on our way to do a little pruning in the vineyards. Life is rough, I know. But you know, there's always something going on in the world. Hold on. Let's change that real quick. Okay. And turns down. Okay. So, yes, I know. So, checking the news today, as I do in the mornings, you know. Wake up, check the news, have some coffee, hang out with C's, do our thing. And today, I checked the news, and the headline is North and South Korea exchange fire. And I'm like, oh crap, here we go, it's on. This is going to be the triggering action of World War III because we got the democratically Western supported South Korea and the authoritarian Eastern supported North Korea, and they're firing on each other, and it's just going to set off a chain reaction. It's going to be, whatever 1918 or 1917 or whatever it was, Duke Ferdinand of Austria, all over again. It's going to be on. I'll have to roll the windows up too. Sorry, C's likes fresh air. I'll roll them back down in a minute, buddy. Man, none of your lines. Anyway, so I was like, so I need to see this news story, right? And I'm like, it was weird that it wasn't the main headline. That the main headline was actually something about global warming and how we were all going to die and no one was exempt from climate change and all this stuff. So I went to the story about North and South Korea firing on each other, and it's like North and South Korea exchange fire. They shot into each other's oceans. They shot rounds into each other's oceans. So I was like, they like miss a boat or something? No, they just shot rounds. They shot cannon fire, artillery rounds, apparently hundreds of artillery rounds into the water. Now, if all it takes for you to be firing at someone or exchanging fire with someone is to expend ammunition into their property, then I've been firing on my neighbors for years. Okay? This goes up to what I was saying, or either was saying or will say, depending on which video gets posted first. In another video about how, look, the gun owners are not the fearmongers out there. It's liberals and the liberal media are the fearmongers. In fact, I think the gun owner stance of like, you should be prepared for emergencies and stuff is just good sense. We're not the ones out there going like, oh my god, another shooter with a gun, he's gonna kill everybody, here's his name, here's what he looks like, oh my god, the police have him. That's liberal media. I'm sorry, it is. And I've got some very liberal friends that are out there like Tyler, man, it's not cool. But hey, what are you gonna do? And I don't know if I've mentioned this on here before, but I shocked somebody yesterday by telling them I was a registered Democrat. And I said, you don't understand. I don't like Republicans any better than I like Democrats. I'm registered Democrat so I can vote in the primaries in my home county. Because almost all of our candidates that run are Democrats. But it doesn't matter. I'll tell you what I told her. Excuse me. I don't like either political party. And what I would like is for us to stop arguing over stupid bullshit and focus on making this a better country. Why? It sounds cliche, but why can't we all just get along? Why can't we work together? It's dumb. look, let's stop judging each other for our differences and start embracing each other for our similarities. And for one thing, we can embrace each other because we're all freaking human beings, okay? Like, I don't care what color you are. I don't care what God you worship. I don't care what, box you check beside, political party when you register to vote. I don't care about any of that stuff. I don't care what gender your spouse is, okay? I don't care if you choose to homeschool your kids. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I just don't care, okay? Why don't I care, you ask? Because it's your business. It's not my business. Like, if you get cut and I get cut, we bleed the same blood. If after the worms eat us, what difference does it make? We're all heading to the same place. We're all going to die. We're all born, we all live, we all die. We're all human beings. Try treating other people like that. And I know that you guys aren't the guilty parties per se, but I'm sure some of you have bashed on, liberal people, or not giving them as fair a shake as you would have other people, or, maybe gays or Muslims or whatever. Like, look, our soldiers that go overseas and fight and die don't fight and die for white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Our soldiers that go overseas and fight and die do so for Americans, for all of us. And there's black people, white people, Mexicans, Chinese, Japanese, whatever I don't even, Eastern Europeans, Africans, gays, straights, Catholics, Muslims, all fighting and dying for your right to believe what you want to believe, and not just for you, but for everyone to believe that. And the problem right now with all this crap is this is now taking a tangent, and it's a whole different video than it was originally intended to be. But this needs to be said. The problem right now is that the people in power are the ones creating this divisiveness. Because if we all get together, if all middle class, lower middle class, and lower class citizens, poverty level citizens in the United States stood up with one voice, no one can stop us. We would be an unstoppable force, and there is no movable object. There's nothing they can do. So politicians don't want us to agree. Politicians want, racial tension. Politicians want gays versus straights. Politicians want Muslim versus Christian. And, you can call me a conspiracy theorist or crazy or whatever, but they gain power by playing us off each other. They're playing both ends against the middle to maintain a level of power. So, stop fighting over stuff. I mean, honestly, it's dumb. I've got friends that are vehemently anti-gun, and we just don't talk about gun control. They respect the fact that I like to shoot and carry guns and be a crazy hillbilly, and I respect the fact that they want to be a liberal, tree-hugging hippie, and we all get along. I don't know why it's so hard for people. Like, when I was in college, I was friends with Muslims that were going to Marshall from like Saudi Arabia, and now they're back in Saudi Arabia. And I hope that if there's one thing that they can if they took back there, I hope they went back and said, hey, all Americans, like somebody's like, oh, Americans hate us because we're Muslim, because we're Middle Eastern, we have brown skin, and we look different, we dress different, we act different. I hope that those people that are out there, Oz was one for sure. Oz was an awesome dude. And his name was Osama. Oz was short for Osama. But I hope he's back there going, no, man. I partied with this guy named Tyler when I was at Marshall, and he wasn't like that. Like, we got along. I don't know, guys. I gotta crack the window. Caesar's getting a little car sick. But it's frustrating to me because we play right into this little game. And if the look, like I'm trying to think of a good example for what I'm trying to say, but like, if it wasn't always thrown in your face all the time that people were different, then how much would you really notice? You know what I mean? If there weren't constantly people saying it's not fair the way that you treat black people and that you stereotype them as gangsters, and then there's black people going, yeah, we'll be gangsters if we want to, and so they live that life, they dress that way and act that way, and you know what? Why would you wouldn't care? I mean, people wear different clothes all the time. You wouldn't care if people weren't always pointing it out to you. You're not like them. Gays want to be married like you straight people. Doesn't that bother you? Frankly, no, it doesn't. Over 50% of marriages end in divorce. I mean, if gays want a part of that misery, welcome to it. I mean, hey, look, they're already living together. You know, all they want is the same treatment as far as taxes and stuff goes, and I don't see why they shouldn't get it. Now, should they be allowed to say, like, we want to be married in this Catholic church or this Methodist church or whatever, this Baptist church? No, because if that religion doesn't believe in marrying gay people, then they shouldn't have to do it. But if gay people want to get married, they should be allowed to get married. That's my opinion. I'm sorry if you don't like it. Look, and my personal opinion on homosexuality doesn't matter one way or the other. That's what I'm trying to get at, is that your personal opinion about what color underwear people should wear doesn't matter any more than your personal opinion about what religion people should follow, whether same-sex marriages should exist or not, because it's not your business. It's not your problem. If two men or two women want to get married and live together, and they want the same tax breaks or same tax situations that a heterosexual couple gets, fine. It's not my business, and it's definitely not the government's business. Separation of church and state. The idea that two gay people shouldn't get married is based on Judeo-Christian belief. We're not separating church and state there. And I think that morality needs to be a big part of politics, and that religion is often a good place to find lessons of morality, but we tend to get caught up in the ritual of religion and not the faith of it. And the faith is where the morality comes from. If we followed the Bible explicitly, then we'd be stoning women who wear more than one kind of fabric at a time, and I'd be destined for hell for sure, because I've got tattoos and all this other stuff. I have to work. I work on the Sabbath, so I'm going to hell for that too. Just people get caught up in the legalism of everything and lose sight of what's important. The morality of religion comes from faith, not ritual. Okay, and as I've now said a couple times, separation of church and state, I believe, means not forming a state religion. Not saying that if you want to live in America, you've got to be a Baptist. If you want to live in America, you've got to be a Catholic. If you want to live in America, you've got to be Jewish. Whatever. Or you can't be Jewish, or you can't be Muslim, or you can't be Christian, whatever. Guys, I'm behind this truck, this semi-truck, and I know it's not their faults because, they have schedules to keep, but they do the same thing that I always talk about tourists doing, that me and Roy Lee have harped on, where it's just like, we get into a straight stretch, and this dude's going to put the hammer down. And I've got a blast pad, I've got to go 95 to pass this guy in a straight stretch, but now we're going 20 miles an hour on this mountain because he can't take the turns, and if he goes fast, he'll fly over the top of the mountain and burn out his brakes going down the other side. It's ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous. Anyway, guys, look, I know this has been a rambling video, and it's what you have to expect from Ride and Rant, okay? This is what Ride and Rant is going to be. And it started out as a rant about one thing, and it's morphed into so many other things, but we, as a country, I believe, are on a collision course, okay? We are destined at this point. Collision imminent. We are about to explode, self-detonate. Something's got to change. And unless people stop taking themselves so seriously, and like I said, stop focusing on the differences. I'm going to see if I can pass this guy. Hold on. See, he's also taking up the whole lane. I can't tell if there's traffic coming. I don't think so. Going for it. Guys, I'm telling you, I just got this car a little over a week ago. It's 08 RAV4. I got the V6 model. It's rocking 245 horsepower out of this little V6, and it is peppy. It's got some balls. It's not by no means. I mean, this is not a big block V8 or anything, but it's got some stones to it. Anyway, we gotta stop focusing on the differences and start focusing on the similarities. And the first similarity we need to focus on is that we're all human beings. We need to treat each other like it. Okay, I'm tired of people thinking that other people are subhuman because of this belief or this behavior or this race or whatever. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Oh, black people aren't as good as white people. Oh, Asian people aren't as good as black people. Whatever. Mexicans aren't as good as Spanish people, and Russians are not as good as French people, and Christians aren't as good as Muslims, and Jewish people aren't as good as atheists, and atheists aren't as good as Hindus. It's always, why not? We're all human, guys. We're all human beings. And if we can't learn to disagree peacefully, if we can't learn to agree to disagree, then we're going to implode. It's going to happen. Our country is on a downward spiral, and unless we band together to fix it and stop focusing on a self-fulfilling prophecy, because that's what we're doing right now, and I'm as guilty of it. I'm as guilty of it as anybody else. The whole kind of paranoia prepper thing is awesome for being prepared, but it also puts you in a mindset of self-fulfilling prophecy. We're expecting something bad to happen so vehemently that we're gonna make it happen. So there has to be you have to have a certain level of optimism that it can be fixed, first of all. And I struggle with that frequently because I'm not sure that it can be at this point. I think it's going to take something very drastic to shake things up. To save our society, to save our country. And look, guys, I'm a history major, and the one thing that I can tell you, one constant throughout history, is that all great powers fall. Every great power in the history of humanity has fallen. It may sometimes in just a few years, sometimes in a few hundred years, sometimes it takes 1,000 years. Every great power in the history of the world has fallen. And we're just going to be another statistic and it's going to be a short life. We've only been a country for less than 300 years? I mean, less than 300 years. We've been a country. And we're already on the precipice of doom. And there's no way to stop it by arguing. There's no way to stop it by fighting and trying to take control. The only way we're going to stop it is by standing as one, uniting together for a better future. It sounds cheesy. It sounds like a tagline. It sounds like propaganda. But it's true. If you don't believe it's true, then you're part of the problem. If you think that you can solve the world's problem because you're a Republican, or you can solve the world's problems because you're white, or you can solve the world's problems because you're a Muslim, then you're part of the problem. You can solve the world's problems because you're human. And if you act like a human and treat everybody else like a human, then that's the first step. And I'm not saying, look, I'm not a socialist. All right, I don't want to just give people stuff to make the world a better place, because that doesn't work. That just leads, as we've seen now, it just leads to lethargy. It leads to a society that values being able to not work and collect a minuscule amount of money, but be able to live without working. wide, free cell phones, free health care, free monthly paychecks, free food stamps. The cost of those things isn't just tax dollars. The cost of those things is a crumbling ideology of a nation built on the backs of hard workers. Now, we have several states where these catatonic, leeches are surviving and thriving off the backs of just a few people that are still working. And I know that there are people out there screaming at the computer screens, Tyler, how dare you? There are single mothers that need that assistance and disabled people that need that assistance, and I'm not talking about them. There are people that genuinely need help. There are elderly people. There are single parents. There are people that are truly disabled. But by and large, the vast majority of people collecting benefits from the state are working the system. And if you don't believe me, you're blind, and you're probably overly optimistic about the nature of our current welfare system. I wish I could promise you that everything's going to work out fine, and that I believe truly within the depths of my soul that humanity will right itself. But that's not true. Until we care about more than ourselves, until we care about more than being right, until we care more about what side is stronger, what side is prettier, what side is richer, we're going to fall. We're going to fall like the Athenians, like the Spartans. We're going to fall like the Romans. We're going to fall like the Ottomans. We're going to fall. We're going to fall like the British Empire, the Third Reich. Maybe you've forgotten, but the Third Reich was, for a few years, the most powerful force on the face of the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to fall if we don't stop squabbling over the little things and start working together to fix the big things. Guys, I appreciate you sticking with me for this video. It's been a long one. If you made it to the end, thank you. I hope you'll take what I've said seriously. Remember, guys, this is America, and we're all human.